Hi everybody, this is Chris Smith. I'm coming to you from my inkpad, and I'm here to show you today a technique I found that can really save you a lot with your designer series paper. I've designed a couple of cards in the last month or so that use corners. This is one that I posted today, and as you can see, you could use a whole in this case 5.5 by 4.25 piece of paper, in which case you would only get four cards out of a piece of 12 by 12 paper. Here's another one. It goes the other way, but the concept is the same. And when I tried to figure this out, when someone asked a question about doing their Christmas cards in a pattern like this, I decided I've got to figure out how you can get more out of a piece of paper, because usually, I think no matter what brand you buy, you're going to get 2 sheets. So initially I came up with a template, and I thought, well, I could just trace that out and see how many we would get. And then I thought the problem would be how you're going to deal with not getting perfectly straight edges. As hard as you try, you're not going to get really straight lines, and you're always going to be kind of fixing up and trimming when the paper's on your card. So this is what I came up with. I'm going to move this so you can see it. This has about a 1/2 inch border. So what I'm going to cut is 3/4 inch. And I'm going to do that all the way around here. You could put washi tape on here if you felt like you wanted to remember that. And of course, no, I'm not looking straight down on this. So I'm hoping I'm getting my pointer is at 3/4, just before the 1 inch. I'm going to cut all the way down until it reads about 11.25, because that's 3/4 away from the 12. This can be off a little bit. It's not that fussy, because the outer part is going to be on your card, but this inner part is going to be hidden by the layer on top of it. Then we'll just turn your sheet and do it again. All the way around. And I'll show you some other uses. This is a really good trick to have up your sleeve, because there are a lot of times that you can use this in your card making or scrapbooking. Another thing that you'll want to remember as you do this is, as you make these cuts, this part here can make your paper a little wobbly. So you're going to want to make sure that you have this firmly flush against this part of your trimmer without it bending forward. So now I'm going to make this last cut. I think I'm on the last one. Yep. At this point, I've got 2 pieces of paper, one cut out. Eventually, we will get 4 corners out of this sheet, but we can keep cutting. So I'm going to go through this one more time, and you do it the same way all the way through your paper until you can't get a 5.5 inch side. Of course, I'm talking about US numbers. You'd have to adapt this if you use other measurements than inches. And as you go, now this second sheet, it gets to 10.5 here, so I'm going to think back, that's like 9 3/4, I guess. And I might have taken a strip off of this one. It helps if you're starting off with a square paper, but really you're going to be fine no matter what. So now I've got a second frame, and once again I'm going to be able to get 2, a 4 1/4 and a 5 1/2 inch. I'll be able to get 4 all the way around. So that's going to be, between these two, I've got 8. I can cut 2 more frames. This time I'm only going to get, I will only get two corners, usable corners for a regular size card. I'm only going to get 2 out of each frame. I will have a little bit left over, but quite often those are still going to be usable. So if you have an alternate design that doesn't need that full corner, you'll get probably closer to 20 cards out of one piece of paper. So here's my 3rd frame. That one's going to give me 2 frames plus some leftover pieces. Now I'm still over 5 1/2, so I'm going to do this another time. Like I said, you're going to kind of have little hash marks if you're not exact, but that's all going to be hidden under your top layer, so you don't have to worry about it too much. I actually decided I was going to do this today because I posted and had some questions, and I'm telling myself that the idea of doing Facebook Live is keeping me from designing my onstage swap, so I'm going to just do this and get it over with. Anyhow, there's my 4th frame. That one is also going to give me 2 corners. At this point, I could probably get 1 more cut out of here, because it looks like I've got 5 1/2. So I'm going to move this. I'm going to make sure I'm going to go in it. 5 1/2, and I'm going to turn it around to this other side. I'm going to get my 1 corner out, so I can get 1 more here. So there you're actually at 15. Let's see. 4, 8, 12, 13. And that's probably, you might have been able to do it 1 more if I hadn't cut all the way through here. You would have gotten 1 more. There I am for doing it online, and I'm not. Oops, that's where that would be. If I wouldn't have cut all this way over, I could have gotten 1 more here, and that would give you 14. Plus you'd have what's left here in the middle. Okay, and then remember that you can cut those going either direction. So if I want to do this, say, having the corner in the lower right, I could cut this shorter edge like this, and then I'm going to flip it over to the other side to get my 5 1/2. So that'll give me that corner. If I want to make it go the other way, so then I'm going to use this part of it. Then I'll go cut my 4 1/4 with the bows and flip it over to get my 5 1/2. So then I could have it on this side. It would look a little bit more like that. Okay, and then you'll have a piece left over to do another design. For example, when I did this card, I prepared a companion card with it that just used a small strip. Both of these, by the way, use the set Wishing You Well. This one I stamped once in the Call Me, I believe it was Call Me Clover, or is it Shaded Spruce? It's whatever comes with this Merry Mistletoe paper. And then another time in Old Olive. I twisted the stamp a little bit so that I got 2 colors in there. And actually I add my little bits of red just using a blend, because since the The wreath itself is stamped in dye ink. The alcohol blend isn't going to bleed. It isn't going to turn muddy and brown. You can get a nice crisp looking little berry or something in there. So that's what I did with that. And actually I did the same thing making dots with the blends to give a little bit different flower than you get with the stamp. This one also features a diagonal greeting, which is kind of fun. And it actually is fun to use with a diagonal plaid that comes in the, that again is the Merry Mistletoe paper. Okay, I want to show you two other things that you can use this same idea on. And actually that candy stripe that I was showing you is from the Santa's Workshop specialty paper. It's really fun because this white part has flocking and it's just got a real nice texture to it. This is another piece of paper that is in that package, and it's unique because it has a frame and it also has several images that can be cut out with the coordinating dies. The thing is, how many of you have a hard time cutting through a frame to get to the rest of it? Well, if you use this same idea, you can cut out just one frame and get that, keep that all intact, and then have the other piece left like this to go ahead and cut your dies, or maybe you even want to use that side. This is what I did with that. You can use a scrapbook. It makes a great scrapbook page because you can keep that whole frame intact. I put another piece on top, and then when you flip it to the other side, you also have a frame that's just a little bit different but coordinating. So that's a good thing to keep in mind too. I'm going to set those aside. I am actually videoing this Facebook Live in my, I think it's like a 5x5 pantry that I have converted into my stamp room. So I'm hoping the lighting is okay. I've tried doing head-on face shots and they get really shadowy. So for now I'm just gonna keep it simple and do my Facebook Lives just showing my work surface. These are a couple of other cards that you can continue to use this idea on. These actually, I might have to, I don't know if you can see here, but this has a very thin layer of thin border of gold foil paper. I'm trying to see if the light catches that. Anyway, I used the same piece of gold foil for both of these cards. This one I just cut out a frame, so there's no gold foil in the middle, just around the edges where it shows. And then I took that other piece and used it for this one. Hope that makes sense. Again, I would love to hear your comments. I hope the sound comes through on this. This is my first one and be easy on me, okay? Thanks a lot. Signing off.